Wow. If there's something I want to talk to you tonight about, it is accounting. Now, the thing that got me into accounting was this guy, okay? I was swimming around down at the beach, and then this guy appeared in front of me, holding some money, and I was like, wow, I want some money, and I want some of that body. And I was like, this is what's gonna change my life. And so I decided I need to find a way. I'm gonna hide my way. I'm gonna get through the shit. I'm gonna work my way through, because what more can you want in life but to get to the top of accounting, right? That's what's gonna change it. Now, funny enough, I was a teacher. But my, oh my, did I have some shit students, right? You know, some of them couldn't even read stuff out. So, you know, I kind of decided, I got some words to me and I was like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. And, you know, I was like, I said some things to my students, you know, 8-year-olds, do you ever think about dying? Turns out 8-year-olds don't think about dying that often. But, you know, we had some good conversations. Then I was like, no, okay, there were some incidents. I wasn't allowed to go return to school anymore. It's like, okay, I'm going to go and do something else, something that doesn't involve people, accounting. Yeah? Because that's the way that you're going to build connections. And you know what? I was scared, right? God, I was scared. I was jumping out of a plane and I didn't know if my parachute would open. Would I be able to count? Would I be able to do Excel? Would I be able to sit down at a desk? And you know what? I learned I couldn't do any of those things, right? It got too much for me at times and I chucked a sickie. Yeah. I chucked a sickie, but I was like, I'm going to go back. I'm going to show resilience, right? I'm going to be the accountant I know I can be. You know? And then I had some leftovers. I was recommended. And then I got salmonella and I was sick again. But you know what? You just bounce back, right? Am I right, accountants? Yeah, that's right. That's right. And you know what? Things start off small, right? You might just be doing 2 + 2 = well, yeah, we're accountants. And then you start to like really build up the numbers. Then you're like 10 × 2 is... Oh, God. Don't we have laughs as accountants? Oh, my God. We just get together as accountants and we make so many funny things happen. I just can go through them all. Now, you might be surprised, but there are no stand-up accountants, comedians. I know, shocking, right? But I was like, no, I'm going to be that person, right? I'm going to be the accountant who's going to transition and make it there. And you know what? Richard was there with me, right? Those eyes, when I said to him, I'm going to do this, Richard, and he said, you can't do it, Steve. And I said, Richard, I can. And then I went to a barber, a hairdresser, because some friends of mine had some amazing hair. Like Richard's, it was lovingly coiffured. And the barber said, you don't have any hair, Steve. You can't have hair like this. I said, I'm not going to listen to you, okay? I'm going to find some other friends, okay? And what they said to me is, Steve, as an accountant who does stand-up comedy, you're going to need fruit. You're going to need some bananas. You're going to need some watermelon. Okay, you're going to need something that's going to add something to your set. I was like, yeah, great. Okay, I'm going to take on board all of this advice. I'm going to get there. It's going to take me 60 seconds and I'm just going to bring all this together. And then I'm going to be the best accountant that I can be. I'm going to be amazing. And you know what? You know, I surreptitiously stalked some people and left weird gifts on their desk. And then I got called into HR and they said, stop doing that, okay? And again, you know, I went home and I was feeling low, okay? You know, I kicked out of teaching. You know, I've been sick. I'm now like, I'm on like a final warning at work. And you know, and I felt terrible about myself, you know? So I decided, well, I'll become a magazine cover person. I'll be the first accountant who's on the front cover of magazines. That's what I'm going to do as an accountant because I don't stop, right? You know, I don't stop, right? And so I became the first accountant with amazing legs. Have you ever seen an accountant with great legs? No. Look at that Venn diagram, yeah? But, you know, ultimately it didn't work out, right? It's fun. Now, I do have one thing. I would like you to turn to the person next to you right now and say to them, "You are a failure." Thank you.